Okay, so let's try this again. Amulet is the same. The rings and the belt are for more resist and more life. The boots are more resist and more move speed. The Heartbreaker is really cool. So these are rune daggers, and that increases your spell critical strike chance, your spell damage, and Heartbreaker also gives you culling strike on your spells. So any enemies that are 10% life or less, if you hit them with Freezing Pulse, they'll just die, and that includes bosses. So we want that in the main hand and the Dragon Thirst in the offhand. For the 6-link setup, I have my Ball Summon Skeletons. You'll be using the one that I gave you. The Triad Grip with 3 green, 1 blue. The Diadem I'll get back to. So for flasks, Topaz Flask to remove shock, Quicksilver Flask for speed, a Life Flask to remove bleeding and corrupted blood, a Blood of the Karui, one of the best life flasks in the game. So when you use it, you recover 2600 life, and then if for any reason you're not full life when the flask is done, it will give you full life. And then I have both of those supported with this Overflowing Chalice, which is used when an adjacent flask is used. So anytime that we use a life flask, we'll get this bonus effect of 40% increased damage and double the amount of charges that the other flasks gain. So that is pretty good. So the first thing I want to do now is get my key bindings correct. So for middle click, I'm going to put Ball Summon Skeletons, because I don't want it to be down here like it is now, so that I don't accidentally misclick it when I'm casting one of my abilities I use all the time, right? So I'll put that on my mouse click in the middle click. Freezing Pulse, that's fine. So I want Steel Skin on my left click. I have Steel Skin here with an increased duration, so that as I move around, I'll get that 1000 shield. So I want that up as often as possible. I don't want to have to think about it. So left click is nice because I can still move around, but it'll auto cast as much as it can. Raise Spectre. So I'm going to put that, Control R. Desecrate needs to be on Q. So I can desecrate to create corpses. So let's pick up a Gut Flare, and a Gut Spiker. Alright. Now I'll go ahead and equip the Devouring Diadem. So you'll see when I equip it, it's going to consume the corpses around me. So it triggers level 15 Feast of Flesh every 5 seconds, so any corpses around will be consumed, and that will give us bonuses to ourselves and all of the minions. It also, you'll see, flips the energy shield over to the mana, and it gives us reduced reservation of skills, so we can run more auras than usual. So we have Hatred. Yep, so we're good. So let's cast our Hatred, and that's going to increase all of the cold damage that our minions are dealing. Arctic Armor. So Arctic Armor, any enemies that hit us become chilled, and it grants us immunity to freeze. So with that and the flasks, we have shock removal, bleed removal, corrupted blood removal, and freeze removal. So that's all the important removals we need. And for Skitterbots, that's going to summon these 2 invulnerable little robots, and one of them shocks and one of them chills. And so they'll run up to the enemies and they apply an aura debuff that will shock and chill enemies, and so that's going to increase the damage that everything deals. Let's see, and generosity is just to make all of those more powerful, basically. So that reserves about 90% of our mana, but it doesn't matter because of the energy shield here. So let me double check that all my key bindings are correct. Don't need that there. Okay. And my flasks. So I have my flasks. If you go to input in the options menu, so since this is an auto cast when we become shocked, I don't want to press it, so I just rebound it to something I won't press. Move speed. Yep, that's all good. Oh, all of my flasks are empty. I'm going to base real quick. Get my flask charges refilled. Oh yeah, so I should go over the skill tree as well. So this is actually a really simple skill tree. I take the shortest route up here so that I can get more max life for myself and more minion damage. This wheel gives more minion damage. This jewel socket's easy to pick up, and it's the perfect spot for our first snow, which this is a really lucky find that it was corrupted and gained minions deal 4% increased damage. Coming this way, we get more minion max life to make them tankier. We get more max life for ourselves. We get more minion damage. We get more max life. Another jewel socket here, conveniently enough. And so I have From Dust in this one. And then more max life here. So you see the pattern is just more minion damage and more max life and jewel sockets that are really easy to get to. So then coming this way, I picked up this agility. I needed a little bit more dexterity to make the build really smooth. More minion damage and area of effect, more minion damage, more max life for minions, and more minion damage. So that's really it. It's pretty simple. I've taken off 50 skill points in total, including my cluster jewel setup. And the ascendancy, I've taken 4 points off, so I'm currently running Commander of Darkness and Mindless Aggression. So that's the skill tree. That's the jewels. Show them again real quick. So the first snow, that's going to increase our freezing pulse. We want it in an area that it has 40 intelligence nodes around it. And it doesn't matter if you allocate them or not, so it would count this one down here and this one here, as well as the ones that are allocated. So that's well over 40. It's really easy to get that jewel socket. And down here we put the From Dust. So From Dust makes it to where when I summon skeletons, it summons all 8 at the same time, so I don't have to recast it as often. Now with that summon skeletons, I have predator support, and so that gives me signal prey. So any enemy I can signal prey, and all of the skeletons, including the Vol skeletons, will focus that one enemy. So that's really handy to have. So we got all 3 auras on, we've got 2 specters raised. Oh, I didn't summon my ice golem. We definitely want to summon him. He's got Feeding Frenzy support, so anytime that he hits an enemy, all of the minions gain like 10% increased speed and damage. It's pretty nice. Okay, so I think that covers everything about the gear and the skill tree, so I'm going to run the Rotting Core real quick, and then I'll call it a video. Oh, it's easy to get lost in this area, no doubt. Oh, here we go.
Something doesn't seem right.
So I'm going to do Maligaro first. So the general idea is to engage with the skeletons and support them with your freezing pulse. So there's definitely enemies in this area that deal bleeding. And so as you can see, I just used this flask to remove that bleeding, and already it's basically back to full because of that overflowing chalice. I'm thinking the door has to be here pretty soon. Whoops. There we go. So now I'm going to Vol summon skeletons as well as normal summon skeletons. So that's all I did. I just walked in and I hit my Vol skeletons and then I hit my normal skeletons and just kind of wait it out and he'll die. There you go. So I'm going to do Dodre next. So you see how consistently that freezing pulse can freeze enemies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can just run past this whole area and I won't die. Use my Frost Blink smart. If I'm capable. Yeah. Boss fight. Vol Skellies, Signal Prey, and then there you go, it's just done. Okay, Chevron. Man, there's like a lot of rare enemies in this area. I'm not being very accurate with my Frost Blinks. Oh, there's an Abyss. I mean, I'm gonna do it. I'll Vol Skellies for that. Oh, don't want to get exploded. Oh, it's still going. There you go. Man, how long's this thing gonna go, huh? There we go. Well then, let's make our way back. Easy enough. Well, simple enough.